Hey.
Good
Welcome.
evening, good
Welcome.
evening, and good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Denise Papillon, and to my right or left is
April with diversity and equity in education. That's what we come in live and in full effect on this good
correct.
last session for us of this year. We
Of
made it. 52,
Mm,
well, we 51 weeks. No, we 15 weeks at this point.
that's right. Hey, that's what I'm talking
We
about.
still got
Hey,
2 more weeks to go, but we on vacation. We
we
on
on vacation.
vacation.
We sure are. And you know your favorite football team is losing anyway. So just join. Just tell your people, come on. Just come on in the room. Come on in the room. We've given up hope in our house. We are a Cowboy and Saints household, and both our teams losing. So we just come on in the room.
Oh my God.
And it'd be so interesting to see how people be on social media
Yeah,
losing their absolute
my
minds. And at the
my.
top of the conversations are them doggone Cowboys,
Yeah,
Buccaneers, and the
every other
Saints. There
team.
you go.
Yeah, yeah. And so unless let's just
Every
be real,
week.
every week, and then people don't put the money in your pocket. So yeah, I'm just realizing you just gotta learn to let go. Just let go and let God. God, that's all you gotta do. But April, yeah, tell us about your there. Snatch them up. Just snatch them by the root, by the scalp, right here. It don't matter. Just snatch them. Oh, April, how have you been since last we've been on? And I see you all the time, but just tell me a little bit about you. What's going on?
So tired. Um
Mhm.
all I could see was the twinkle of the light for December the 19th. And the closer we got to that day, or the number of days that was less for us to reach that goal of December 19th, I became more energized. So I will say this, my God,
Yes.
thank you for December 19th at 4:45. How about you?
That was when I said that was the most blessed day ever. There are days when you leave work and the parking lot still has cars in it, and then there are days like Friday when you leave work and you can hear echo, hello, 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 all the way down, because people were booking it up out of that place. So I just understand something. It's not that we don't love and care for the kid. It's just that it is a mentally draining career, okay? And it is sometimes you just desperate for silence and just quiet and just a moment to just go under your blankets and just come there for. But yeah, can I just throw a little caveat on in there just real quick? Let me tell you
Sure.
my 15 seconds of panic prior to, because these Apple products, apparently my keyboard and my mouse died at the exact same time. So you should have seen me before we started our show scrambling for batteries, right? Disturbing my poor husband, because I'm like, I need the batteries out of your. I'm like, pick a TV and run with it because I need the batteries stacked. Okay. So it was rough. It was rough around here. Oh, there's my friend. Okay. It was really rough around here. So I just, but I persevered, and I therefore have, I'm up and running. But, I got to learn to stop panicking. So guess what I did? I immediately decided, let me go ahead and find a 48 pack. just press order.
That
Yeah.
part.
Because you'd be amazed how much stuff in the house requires AA or AAA batteries. It's crazy.
Right.
But anyway,
Well, I
I'm
never have access to those with these kids in the house because of the many remotes, but yeah,
yes,
I do.
exactly. So, just but going forward in terms of our of the end of the year, I think we had a great year so far. Our kids are progressing, moving forward. We got, but just remember, parents, we got to buckle down. So let's talk about what we're going to jump into first of all. Let's discuss this winter break. How long is winter break, April?
So as of right now, so many people, there's a misunderstanding, or a bunch of misconceptions, or
Mhm.
what I want to say. What's that word that they use about
You're misconstrued.
no, the thing that when it's a myth and it's stories behind it. What is that called?
Oh, well, for right now, we're gonna say myth until it comes into my mind. Okay.
Okay, well, as
Yeah.
you process that, there
Okay.
are a bunch of, and for us, it's just y'all just telling lies. That's what it is for us. Yes, we are prepared for winter break. It starts on tomorrow. It goes from December the 22nd through January the 6th, which is on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Say it with me, parents. It's on a
Tuesday.
Tuesday. And maybe it's my computer, but something weird is happening right now with the layering.
Yeah, I can still see you.
Okay, you still see me? All right, so it happens on a Tuesday. So it's very important. Go ahead and put that in your phone now with the reminder of 48 hours prior to. So you can go ahead and prepare those kids for bedtime, clothes are washed, and all that good jazz. You might want to do it for
Yeah.
72 hours, so that'll give you a little bit more time.
Yes.
But again, it goes from tomorrow, which is December the 22nd, through January the 6th, which is a Tuesday. It is very
Correct.
important to send your children back that week, even though it's a partial week, because that's when we bring them back in and get them reacclimated to the learning environment. And what does
Right.
that look like, Denise, in the classroom?
The learning environment, we're talking about structure. So that's the first word I'm going to look at right there, because if you don't have structure during those 2 weeks, we're going to have to start from the very beginning again. So what we would actually do on day one as they return is go back over all the policies and procedures, everything that they need to remember. Hey, this is what we do when we ask to go to the restroom. This is what we need to do how we enter the classroom, how we exit the classroom. Remember where our supplies are, where our materials are. These are our procedures. These are our steps that we follow. All of that has to be reinstilled in them because they've been home for 2 weeks. And we don't know, they just running here and there. They don't ask anybody to go to the bathroom, they just go. They don't, ask to get up and walk out of a room, they go. So there's a lot of things that we have to just put back into them when they come back after the two-week break, and things that we have to remember as well. My number one thing that I got to remember is my password, because there's days where I'm not looking at that computer. And then when I get back, I'm like, ooh, what was my password again? That's okay.
So I
So
made
just
it a
those
point.
procedure.
Yeah, I made it a point to go ahead and put mine in my phone because otherwise
Yes.
I'm not going to remember it at all. And we want to
Yep.
make sure that everyone, even on our end and even on the parent side of things, yes, it is a winter break, but it's time for us to reset. That's basically
Yes.
what winter break allows for us to do. Reset and then become re-energized, rethink things that the way that they were, conducted in the classroom or the school setting, the bus, whatever it may be. But it's definitely a reset. So it allows you to be able to be intentional about teaching your children how to regulate themselves. If they had a lot of referrals, you had a lot of parent calls, homes, utilize this time to be able to, engage, not just on the phone, in a room, away from you, so that life still, takes place as if they were not there. Let them show up and you be present as well. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Things that we need to understand about school. School is the place for structure, right? And the things that we made a note of: structure. They receive meals regularly, and they have that stability, especially if you're coming into classes where we almost guarantee it's a shock for you when your teacher not there, because your teacher is always there, right? So imagine that structure just fizzling out over the next 2 weeks. Try to provide some sort of structure. Okay, this is a bedtime. This is the wake up time. I know they're on break, but also maybe even as you get closer to going back to school, you want to reinstill those particular structures right there, because it's very important. I mean, it's not, get that stomach energy, as I call it, back on track, because it ain't like we're gonna eat all day long. You having
Oh,
breakfast
they
at
gonna
school.
eat. Parents, don't put them on some type of schedule structure. They're gonna eat them out of house and whole, because mine just eat just because they're thinking about eating.
All day.
They have just eaten an hour ago and they be like, "What can I get a snack? Snack where? Snack sit down. Snack go in your
Right.
space." Because you're not hungry. You
Right.
just know that
Right.
it's there. Because there's no reason why a
Correct.
half of a six pack, right? A half of a six pack
Say
of
it.
Gatorade is gone within 24 hours. Make it not make
And
make it make sense.
make it make sense. Exactly. Especially since food
Not the
prices are
itties, the calls.
astronomical.
Not the
What?
itties, the calls.
Mm-mm. Food prices are astronomical. We do not, we will not, we're not going to just be sitting there eating through the fridge when the prices are through the roof. So just make sure that we understand that that's the situation right there. But we know the kids get that type of structure at school. So, just try to keep them in some kind of line with those type of structures that we've established, because it's so important that when they return, I mean, we love a break, right? As educators, we love the break, but we do understand it is hardest for us when they come back from a break, because you coming from a place where I can do whatever I want, say what I want, and now I got to come back to complete structure, and that takes time. That takes time. And then on top of that, the curriculum is still moving, so you still got to get the information that you need to them. So we just ask you again. We have some wonderful quotes. Routine still matters, right? And how we must use this break will impact how our children return in January. So just keep that thought in mind as we move along. Any other thoughts about that, April?
No, that's it. As we move
Okay.
right along into parents. What you all say?
Let's talk
Parents
about
do what, Denise? What they need to do, parents?
Parents need to check Canvas before the break is over. They also need to clean them backpacks out. That's the two things.
Hopefully they all got new ones. Hopefully that was on the list.
I can't stress that. Oh, buy them a new one. Let me tell you something. You should add Lysol wipes to your. Listen, you want to buy stuff for the kids for Christmas, but there are things they've been getting sick. They sound like an actual musical choir. How they coughing in the classroom. I mean, what you? Please back up off me. Back up off me. I can't take it.
What you want them to do?
Back up off me like this. Away. Just come into your desk, just snatch them right out class. Just snatch them. I can't take it.
Oh my God! Now they're making a musical note. They're making a song.
They do, and it's coughing all the. And so parents, and you sending them to school like that. I know you heard them coughing. You send them and put them in an enclosed room with 24 other people and let them cough on each other. Okay. And now they come back to you. Vitamin C is your friend. Theraflu is your friend. Please give them water. And I'm going to tell you what adds to that. Let me tell you what it is, parents. I've watched so many kids prior to taking an exam in the morning. They are eating bags of Takis and they're drinking sodas and juices. Now, again, April and I used to be we were engaged in a program called it was something like a brain break, but it has to do with the water.
Brain gym.
What was it called? Brain gym. There you go. And it emphasized how important it is for kids to consume water to get the blood moving through the brain. These kids are eating the most ridiculous stuff first thing in the morning. So they are crashing in the middle of the day and they're taking exams. So again, we encourage you. We encourage you to force them to drink more water because it'll flush out those toxins out of the system, and it also help them with studying and retaining information. So, and plus it helps us because they clearing all that stuff out of their system, and we don't want them to be sick. Okay. So going back to Canvas, listen, just like we check our phones, we're going to say it again and again and again. Just like you could check your phone every 5 minutes for an update or for get notifications for this, that you can check Canvas often. That is it. There's the link right there. We have it up on the screen for you. Canvas. Please check your child's Canvas. No one should be surprised by what the grades look like. These are real-time live grades. They're live. And you can communicate with the teachers like that. The kids can send messages. It is so important to use that. And that is, by the way, the district tool. So if you try to communicate in other ways, yes, you might get a text message. Yes, you might get a phone call. But this is the legal document that we can refer to when people say, oh, yeah, how my child failed. Well, wait a minute. I can look in there and see how often you logged in. You're telling me you check Canvas every day, but according to so what Maury Povich used to say that, but the lie detector said that this is a lie. That's
so
what he said.
Parents, we want you all to do something different. If you have not done already, we want you to sit down with them with the Canvas open. They can open their portal, not a problem. Then you have them click on each individual class and identify anything that's missing. And if it doesn't say, if there's a button that they could click on, I mean, it is still, or if it's still colored there, they still could click on it and complete the assignment. A lot of teachers left the assignments unlocked for that reason, because grades aren't due until January 12th. And yes, you're going to have some teachers that be like, no, I'm not. My God, thank you that he extended the grace. Because I know this one to the left or right of me, she's a stickler for that as well. But I kind of rubbed on a little bit, be like, all right now. All right. Remember what we're working with.
I do want to look right this month.
You do. It took a minute, but yeah, because the other Denise, the one from the islands too, St. Croix, she went ahead on me, telling them, nope, not going to do it, sorry. But I had to give my whole grace spiel, and then she was like, But I'm like, yeah, I know we math people. I get it. It gets harder. It gets difficult, which leads to parents. If your child is struggling, there are resources available over the winter break. You want to talk about that real quick, Denise? Or you want me to go ahead?
Yes. Okay. So, but we do want to always mention our quote. I love this right here. Hold on. What these quotes are the best. Was it closing academics gaps now can reduce stress in January and help your child start strong instead of playing catch up. So that's important. That's why we're saying go back and check Canvas. But let's talk about again grace. Okay. Now, many children don't come from homes where deadlines are modeled. Okay.
Right.
Because survival
that's the
comes
key. Say that
first.
again. Say that again.
Many children do not come from homes where deadlines are modeled because survival comes first. So now we're going to talk about that. Okay. I'm going way back in the days when we were at DW Waters, where we had a kid that lived across the street from school. And that child never made it to school on time because nobody in the house cared about getting anywhere on time. So if you're literally living across the street, and this is more than 20-something years ago, but you would school started at 7:30 or something like that. Got to school around 9:45, 10 o'clock. Look, I got to make me a sandwich and all that. I got to do everything what I got to do before I get to school because school is not that important. So if the family is operating out of a strictly survival mode, that child doesn't understand why you want your paper turned in on time, why this has to be done on time, why if I can miss 5 days of school, why I miss a math test? I mean, what does that matter, So you have to, this is why we go back to, and again, I learned this from my friend. This is why you do have to go ahead and extend that grace too, because again, recognizing that every household is not the same. Every household don't have strong Wi-Fi. Every household might not have laptops. Every household might not even have lights on this week, So you have to, we look at the community that we serve, and you have to sit there and say, you know what, I am going to extend that grace because again, the grace that was extended to me, I need to continue to pass it on to somebody else. Well, I need to be, if I'm blessed, I need to be a blessing to other people. So that's what it really boils down to. So just think about that. And it takes us back to that, the very beginning of school, April, when we all went on the bus tour and went around the community and started to see where the children were living and the neighborhoods they came from. It really opened up your eyes to where, man, I do need to extend this grace because some kids don't have, they look like they come to school big and bad and tough, but we know where they're coming from. And some of them are actually homeless. So it's just, those are things you got to take into consideration when you're dealing with the population that we serve and all around the East Tampa. Just pay attention. Look at what's going on. High rises that people can't afford to live in, So, but that's what we talk about when we say that we really need to understand that extending grace does not weaken expectations. It is literally just saying, hey, I'm going to work with you because you have extenuating circumstances. And the word I was looking for when you were talking earlier is logical fallacies. That's what I'm thinking of, right? You think that it makes sense, but it don't. Okay, so I'm sorry, backtracking, but still, okay? But again, but it can still fly in my mind like that.
Further on that, Denise, even to go a little bit further than that, because I know you was talking about sometimes individuals see that as it's weakening the expectation. No, it actually strengthens the trust. It restores dignity for that child, and it keeps the child connected to the learning instead of pushing them out. Because in the end, if they never get to taste success in your class, whether it be they get it done now, doing a lunch and learn, doing a 2 or 3 questions versus 15. If they never taste success in their academic learning, the academic gap continues to widen. That's just common sense. Think about it.
Exactly.
If I went to work every day and they never gave me a paycheck, you think I'm gonna come back to that damn job? No.
Right. Exactly.
That's not the success happening there.
Even the ones that are like, they literally just work your very last nerve. If they can have one thing that they could do that was correct, it might not hold them for the whole semester, but they might change for a couple of days because they're like, oh, okay, wait a minute, I got a B on this, I got an A on this. Okay, they like my work. Okay, good. And then in that vein, start incorporating things that are their strengths. Because I have kids, I've learned over the decades, everybody's not a test taker. Everybody is not able to write a paper with fidelity. But guess what? There's some kids who can tell you the whole story. You know what I do? The ones who love to run in the class and tell about all the fights, those are the ones who give oral presentation. I said, you know how to tell a story. So everything we just read, you're going to stand in front of this class and you're going to tell the whole entire thing. And they can, and they're very animated. Now, they might not be able to write it, but they certainly know how to say, okay, and then this what happened, and this what happened, and this what happened, and this character, and this character, and they got it. That's me saying, okay, I'm assessing that they got the information, okay? So, just look at how they learn, okay? Go ahead.
And then that ties into DI, before we start getting so blown up and torn apart about DEI, that's DI. That's realistically what differentiated instruction is. And that's what it's supposed to look like. If we were trying to create, robots, then everybody should be doing the same thing at the same time, and produce the same product.
Right.
But what she has explained to us is that there's different products that can be, in response to the learning that a child has received. So just think about that. Something to think about. Because if they're showing up every day, I believe, this has always been my belief, if they're showing up every day and they earn a complete F, that means you failed them.
Yes.
That means they didn't hear nothing either then that was beneficial to them. They should be able to at least walk away with the D. Now, if they showing up twice a week, that ain't gonna cut it. That means,
Right.
And if they can't verbally, say what it is what's going on, But if they showing up daily and they're not getting anything out of your class, that's on you.
Right. I have one who is just the attendance is atrocious, but that kid is the opposite. That kid is a master test taker. I don't need class, but when I come to take them standardized tests, I'm knocking out the water. So I'm just like, ooh, how do you justify that? But I can't pass you for the class, but I know for a fact when it comes to those tests, boy, them state tests, you just come in there and say, okay, 3. Now, I don't need a ready 1, 2, 3. I'll take it. I'm just like, what? Okay. So
which means at some point the child's background knowledge and even the days that they are there, they're still getting something from it. They're able to absorb more and then take that information and just, disaggregate it to where it says, okay, this goes here, but they're getting something from your class. Right. But you're right, F. If you're not coming to class for 3 times a month, there's no way I could pass you. There's no way. And that happens more often than most would even be able to think that it's the truth anywhere. It happens a lot. And it's not our site thing. It's a district thing. It's district. It's a state thing. It's a nation thing.
And I want to mention something too, especially when it comes to the absences, right? Parents, this is so important. I've encountered this about 5 times for the school year. If we come across situations where kids just stop coming to school, they just stop, okay? But if you're going to keep your child home or send your child to a charter, wherever they're going, right? You have to withdraw them from the school that they're attending because every single day our absences are building up. So I've seen kids sitting there and I've reached out. I'm to the point where, well, can we send somebody over there? Because where is the child? Where is this particular and all the kids, remember, think about kids, they have information. They know everything. All the kids will tell you, oh yeah, they moved out of state. They moved here. They gone. Oh, I was playing on Fortnite. We just played the other day. Okay, fine. The kid is okay, safe. However, parents, if you change in schools, you got to withdraw them from the current school that they're at. So it's just a paperwork thing that we need to follow through on, okay? And also if you're not in school, you got to be in school. That you can't have kids being truant. They have to be enrolled somewhere in school. So please do the right thing. That's one thing I want to add on.
And leading into that conversation there, because from district to district, we will be able to, that information will eventually come. That means that the child will show up in the system somewhere. We can see that. District to charter, no, we can't see that. Yep. District to out of state, we cannot see that. So that's what Denise is referring to, because many assume that, when they leave the school, they'll show up. No, we're not in the same district anymore. Though, we don't share that information. It doesn't align. And then going into that good old word called truancy. Let me be clear. At this point, all the grace that could have been extended in first and second quarter, which accumulates to become a semester, the grace is over. If your child does not have a documented illness at this point, and information has been submitted to the school, and the unexcused absences continue, whether it be elementary, middle, or high school, they get them with their driver's license. They get them, off rip. But elementary and middle, you should expect for the social worker to now become a part of your business. And you cannot get upset with them because the failure to communicate has opened up that window of opportunity for them to now include them in your business, which could lead to juvenile court.
Right.
Truancy court. That is a thing
Truancy
in
court.
Hillsborough County. It's assumed that it's not, and it's always associated with juveniles. No, that's also associated with children that have no juvenile record, and parents are not getting them to school or making certain that they're in school or communicating with the school to say as to why they're not in school. So the district is all over this attendance thing this year, like the attendance committees, the number of meetings are being monitored by the attendance committee, reports are being submitted. I'm here to say there are quite a few that have missed more than 50 days at our site.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can expect it. And the only person you can be upset with at this point is yourselves. That's it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like no one has been calling. Yes, the calls are happening. The computer system shows it unless you change your number every month. And that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother thing. The whole nothing.
People have
Because
went out
we're
to
looking
homes knocked on the doors. That's how we found out some kids don't even live there anymore. They go to the bus stops and all this other stuff, and then you want to get upset with a child when a child explains what's happening. No, adults are not doing adult things. Adulting is your responsibility to take on those conversations, whether they are uncomfortable. That's the best way I can explain it. Do your part. Don't put your children in those types of situations. And I'm off my soapbox. We're ready to move forward.
No. Well, no, but I absolutely agree. I mean, you listen, when people start knocking at your door, don't get mad because it's as simple as a phone call. If you just say, hey, listen, I need a couple things. One, we move it, or I need some help with this. We moved away, so I can't have the child. I had 2 kids who came up to me and told me that Friday was their last day because they're going to move,
we had several
further away. Yeah, and so but like I said, just remind your parent to call the school, contact the school, let them know that you're being withdrawn, so that you can, and please re-enroll as quickly as possible someplace else, because we just need to know that you're still in school. So it's just important, parents, do your part. If you're a parent, do your part. We've seen so much stuff over the past month and a half of parents just being lackadaisical. I mean, you got I can't even get into the things that we've seen, especially all that stuff that happened in Chicago last month, the month before. But it's just so much stuff going on. Be a parent. You had these children. You had them. Please be a parent. That's all we're begging you to do. And I will come off my soapbox. Let's talk about academic resources during the winter break. Let's talk about that. Bianca, do you have some things to put up on the screen for us?
So I will say that there are free academic resources during the winter break for our families. And when we say for our families, we are basically highlighting that those resources are available for the children. There are a plethora. So if you go to Hillsborough County Public Library, and the key thing is, let me back up. You got to have a library card. Now, there are some there that you're just going to go there on that list. It'll take you to a list of things that you do not need to have a library card. But if you have a library card, they're free. And if you go get a library card, it's free. I believe you can register for a library card even online, and it's free, and it's free, and it's free. Then it make these resources that would be extremely costly to you free, like the 101 live tutor. Not tutor. You cannot beat that. So again, families, there are reading platforms that are there. There are math practice, skill building programs there. And we all know that a lot of our children, even all the way through middle and high school, are still struggling with phonics. They're still struggling with it. That's beyond kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10. And still
11 and 12.
Yeah, 11 and 12.
11 and 12.
7, I forgot my 6, 7 thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
11, 12.
Remember that one?
Yes. That's why that's why we know. That's why they always been singing on the TV, teaching us something. Always.
Thank you.
And those programs were intentionally designed for us for
by
us.
us. Yes. We could do a
Where
whole other show
are we?
on this.
So then that
Sesame
goes back
Street.
to where are we? Where are we?
Right.
Where are we? Where
Listen.
are the programs
It's so,
where the intentionality is there?
it is so funny you said that because I know I have I don't know if it was I record the stuff and then I don't I'll post it till like 3 days later. But anyway, I just talked about that and I was saying how back in the day we used to have listen how they would plant stuff in our brain. On the Cosby Show in A Different World, they would wear sweatshirts and also on Living Single, they would wear the HBCU sweatshirts on the
They
show. The
would.
art displayed in the show was from black painters and artists and things like sculptures, right? They would have, so it was like Living Single, Martin, it was we call it Cosby Show, you had Different World, you had there were just so many, and then the cartoons of Proud Family, you had Fillmore, you had the Hanna-Barbera. It was happier and it was more pro-black. And now when you ask kids what they watching, baddies.
Hold on,
They're
let's go
watching
back.
Pete Alley.
And even the family shows that are being advertised as such, what do we see? The angry black killing woman.
Yep.
Or the
Yes.
vulnerable, don't know nothing woman. The man is abusive and cheating
Yes.
and killing him. I'm like, or we see
Right.
Tyler Perry dressed up as Madea.
Right.
What is
Tyler Perry
happening?
can't get a pass either. He can't get a pass either because he always show a broken family. So it's
Exactly.
like
That's what I'm talking about.
What happened to the love? Because I just knew, like I'm gonna tell you, my little sister, she knew she could be a doctor. She knew because she said Claire Huxtable was a lawyer, and Cliff was a doctor. And when you start to see these things, look at Whitley Gilbert. That's why my sister is fancy. I ain't gonna lie, that's why she extra fancy, because Whitley Gilbert was high society on campus, on Hillman campus, and she was like, oh no, I'm going to be high society. And it's nothing wrong. That was that strong. You had a strong foundation. And so, but the thing about it is those were so positive. Kids don't see any of that. Kids don't believe that can exist. And that's some scary stuff. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? No, you got a lot of black shows, but a lot of them are still gangsters, murderers, thugs, prostitutes. Come on, man. That's why when Black Panther first came out, it was so $1 billion within the first, I think it was the first 2 months or something like that, because people want to see black people positively displayed, positively portrayed. So it's important, parents, watch what your children watching on TV. That's what we say. We saying all that to say, pay attention to what they watching. I mean, I posted something the other day too that we say if you grew up with Electric Company, you think like this. If you grew up with Sesame Street, you can think like this. If you grew up with Blue's Clues, you got critical thinking skills. Because what did Blue do? Tell you to go find the evidence. Find the evidence before you. Okay, how we solve this? We're looking for the evidence. Okay, that's what Blue was telling you. Okay, Dora had you exploring all over the place. She was like, look, we gonna find it. And she would teach you bilingually.
Critical thinking.
Okay?
Critical thinking.
So that's what's your critical thinking skill. So it's like, what are you letting your children watch? Why they can't have these critical thinking skills? This is the reason why, look, reason why I know how to do a multiply by 9? Because I had we call it Schoolhouse Rock. 7 times 9. 6 doing just fine. What? But I knew it. Conjunction, junction. What's your function? Okay, I knew all that. I knew that. But again, it was because we were fed things that was just developing the brain, and it was fun, and it was just it combated the literacy problem. So again, when you talk about high school students who don't have literacy skills, look at what happened. Look at if I'm listening to I love me some trap music, but if I'm listening to trap all day and all night with no clear,
I've seen it.
It's not clear. Okay. None of the words are spelled correctly. So this is how you think you're supposed to talk and write. Think about this, parents. Now, this is how you writing and talking, because all you're listening to is trap. We had R&B and love songs, and we've had a lot of instrumental music and stuff, but we did it and it helped us. It didn't detract from our ability to learn. So that's the reason why when kids are going out to college and when they're going to jobs, even the bosses are saying, "Man, this kid ain't got no skills. This kid can't follow basic instructions. This kid can't read basic instructions."
Yeah, they don't have the soft skills at all. That's one of the key things that career readiness programs try to hone in on, that the soft skills, by now they should be at a much higher quality. And unfortunately, due
Right.
to technology, they are not. They are
They're not.
well
They're
below,
not.
where you have individuals from other countries have better soft skills than us as U.S. U.S. natives. I mean, I don't, anyway. But parents, we say all that to say this. Learning during the spring break does not have to feel like school. It should be supportive, light,
Yes.
and doable. So the ultimate goal is have them add a couple of apps on their phones. They're on them anyway. Or just make them take out like about 25 to 30 minutes a day where it's structured learning, whether it's sitting at the computer or even on their device sitting next to you. Turn off the TV, you read somebody. Exhibit what you would like for them to be doing, which is being in tune with their academic side while they're actually on winter break. It won't hurt them. It won't kill them. I don't know it. They get ready to all read books. Sergio got 2.
Exactly.
D-Nice gonna have that chapter book gonna eat him alive, but we reading it. We reading it. We reading it. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's just 30 minutes a day. You'd be amazed at what you can accomplish in 30 minutes a day. Your kid reads a million words a year if you just give them 30 minutes a day. You'd be amazed. Okay. And they're just exposed to the words. And that's how they learn to spell and master phonics and things like that. So we want you to talk about that. But let's talk about a hard truth. So since we've given enough to that one particular subject right now, let's talk about a hard truth. Let's talk about something called, and we're going to use it backward because the word itself is called hope. But we feel hopeless. So I want April to talk about hope. Let's go ahead. Talk about that.
So I know for a fact, based upon my experience on this past Saturday at the 18th annual The Heights holiday event. Shout out to Coach Jamal. It was a phenomenal event. The sponsor that was featured there was a lady named, I think it was Patsy. Look, charge it to my mind and not my heart, because I'm not a good person that remembers names except for children's anyway. That's just my thing. I don't remember a lot of adults that I'm not engaged with. So, but she brought out some very nice things for parents to be able to win for their children. But the room was covered with, I would say, at thousands at this point. It had to be toys that was there. The room was nice. It was done well, and Coach Jamal always very intentional about how he bring together individuals that are supportive for children. He don't like all that lights, camera, action stuff if it's not authentic and genuine for the kids. And it was a good event. But during that time when I was there, having a conversation about youth mental health, because that's one of the key areas of concerns that I always talk about and feel the need to bring forward in our community about youth mental health. That as an educator in a school setting, public school setting, that has a combination of kids that's coming from, very communities that are filled with turbulence. I'll say that. That's what I want to describe it as.
Yes.
We know that they come with baggage. And also for the teachers in survival mode, we've been in survival mode, some of us now as educators, for years, because the raise is not raising. But the economy cost to live is. That's a whole nother conversation too. So a lot of things that we are disciplining the students for is actually because we're trying to treat some type of mental disconnect, some type of mental disease, disorder, some type of lack of self-regulation that the child just don't know how to do. We're trying to treat that with a referral. You can't, they don't go together. Now, is that the only thing that we have? Yes, because I am not a clinician, nor is Denise, nor is the principal. We're just not those things. So we have to use the tool that we are able to use. And at this point, it has just become explosive, not just at our school site, not just in our district. It is a nationwide thing. Like Denise said, Chicago, look at all the children that we see are, I don't even want to say it. It's out there. It's out there. It ain't anger no more. They are rageful. They're full of just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like vengeance against everybody. And it's like they can't let things go. And the question becomes why. But long story short, Hope for Schools was explained to them in that setting. And you could tell that parents in that and it was well over 500 people in that room, well over. You could look at their faces that they did not understand when it was being explained to them that Hope for Schools, which is basically meaning that you're going to have charter schools be able to come in, and there's certain ones, it's not all charter schools, but charter schools that have registered and blah, blah, blah. They're able to come in and co-locate at specific schools because they are, and it's not just because they're low performing, it's because the schools are underused.
They're housed inside the school.
So what would that look like is the question.
Right.
So at these schools, and I want y'all to pay attention to the list. That's what got me when I was like, wait, it's not all schools? No, here's the list. The list consists of Adams.
And leave it on the screen for a while.
Adams is closed.
Yeah, leave it.
The list up there. Adams is closed. However, they're not looking at Adams anyway because they want to go to school sites where there are children already at. So you got Adams, Broward, Burnett, and the list is there for you all. Chamberlain, Cleveland, Dowdell, Dr. Carter G. Woodson for some. That's the Old Van Buren. Edison, Farrell, Franklin, Graham, James, Just, Adam, King, Lomax, Monroe, Oak Park, Seffner, Smith, Town and Country, Washington, and Young,
where I just came from. Right.
So now, what I want you all to make note of, inner city folks, most of the schools are in the inner city, District 5.
Correct.
Think about that.
The question is why. Because they could have thrown them out there in Wesley Chapel. They could have thrown them out there in New Tampa. They could have thrown them out there in Plant City.
Empty schools. Adams is empty.
Throw them out. Right.
Kimball is empty. And
why
there's
would
a
you
couple
close
other
something
empty schools. But they want to come into the schools and basically market to the students that's already there or in those communities where those kids already come to those specific schools and basically create divisiveness. They can pick and choose which kids they want to market to. And you know how they, at the charter schools, a lot of times they always dangle that, and you're going to get a free laptop and free and free and free and free and free. You know, those marketers, I won't call it a scheme because they do give it to them, but it's the dangling the shiny object in front of them to say, this is why it's better. However, who paying for that?
Ooh, that's the question. And then the other part of that is you accept these children into the charter that's housed inside the school, but then you get the money. Don't forget, you got to follow the money. Get the money, right? Well, if the behavior is bad, I can just kick them back out, and they can stay on the other side, and I'm gonna still keep the money.
Yes.
Yes.
And then these Hope schools, get to have access to every child's information in this district. As far as what I read, exactly. Did we just talk about that earlier?
We talked about that.
We don't know what that looks like. I just know that I would not want an organization, a school, any company or whatever it is to have access to all my child's information. Because what if they wanted to target discipline? What if they wanted to target attendance? We already know the inequities with the discipline nationwide. Take out district, nationwide. And we already know, what county was that where they were using the student discipline and it was being funneled to, was it the juvenile justice or some type of organization? I can't remember.
I don't remember the county. I don't remember the county, but it was definitely funneled directly to the juvenile justice system. So
but it was here local. It was in Florida.
Yeah, it was
Pasco. It was in Pasco. To where and notice how that information got.
Yeah, quiet, like the Epstein files.
You gonna get out there not be able to be viewed.
I'm like, aside.
So again,
Protected.
parents,
Oh,
we
hell
need you
no.
all to be vocal about this. We need you all paying attention. We
Right.
need you all to realize that they pulled the dollars from already the underfunded public school setting. It is what it is. We're underfunded.
Right.
Raises, we get stipends. We don't get raises.
Where that is.
We get stipends.
Where that is.
We don't get
Right.
raises. But yeah. And when we say a raise, I mean something that I can feel, something that's going to make a dent into if I was paying $2,000 for a mortgage, which is the average. $1,500 to $2,000 for a mortgage has now become the average.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
that's not my plight, because my house, I got it way back, and I did no refi.
Yeah, we
the
got
second mortgage.
way back.
We almost paid off.
Yeah.
Glory.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you talk about what. Look, we going back when it was like early 2000 or 2003, and I'm like, wait a minute, let's do the math on that. Carry the one. Okay, we almost paid off. Okay, so yeah, so it's like, but see, and that's when mortgages was still like $700 and $800. I mean, that's feasible today, but I couldn't even wrap my mind around. I couldn't wrap my mind around paying $2,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. I still can't. It's just scary. So. I don't know. It's painful because you see what people
Sergio,
are
you
going
got
through
that
and the pain that
Wi-Fi
people
on
are
because this internet is
experiencing when it
slow.
comes to housing, when it comes to, just food and everything. Oh, my friend got frozen, but I think she's still moving around a little bit. I'll just continue. But that is a dangerous thing. So, but going back into the school, parents, pay attention. Pay attention to what's happening. And the fact that it's all about money. It's all about money. Nobody really. Are we looking at what's in the best interest of our students and the best interest of the children, or are you just simply focusing on the fact that, hey, we're just gonna move it in here? How does that even look in it? I think about the school I worked at, Young, right? I do understand that there was one particular building where it was severely underused, but they saved it for a lab. But how does that look when kids are passing in the halls or passing, to cafeteria or passing from building to building? You got a whole set of kids. Our kids are famously known for she looked at me, he looked at me, she looked at me, and now you're gonna have two separate entities, I'm gonna call it, in the same school. They might even be wearing two different sets of uniform. They might even be just I a lot of these decisions that they seem to make making these decisions without the input of actual educators. And that is a very dangerous thing to do, because if you are not boots on the ground, as they say, how are you thinking that this is going to work? But like I say, we just work here. Okay, that's all we do is we just work. Seems to me be that we may have lost Fran. Fran has needs to jump back into the studio, but it's okay. We're going to continue this on and keep the show rolling. One of the things that we did want to talk about was our favorite, where our heart and soul lies, District 5, which is in East Tampa, okay, where the real impact is. In East Tampa, the real impact is happening in public schools, community programs, and family partnerships. So we have to think about what that looks like, right? I think that East Tampa is strong because of the fact that everyone tries their very best to work together. Without the constant sense of community, people would feel, that desperation that's out there. There's everywhere you turn around in East Tampa, you can find a lot of people in the community, strong people who are able to help each other out and able to bring resources to where they need to go. So it's so important that we understand that we have educators, we have the CRT, that's the community resource teachers, we have the social workers, we have our entire community who are filling in these gaps every single day. So we just want to take a moment right now to just give a great big old shout out to East Tampa and how, as we say, East Tampa strong, right? And how we are pulling together all of our resources and pulling together everything that we need to work all East Tampa. We love you. Part right here, okay? All right. Despite limited funding, East Tampa continues to show resilience, innovation, and heart. And that's one thing that you need to understand is that when people think they can knock you down, that's when the innovation comes the strongest, which is the reason why a lot of people have issues with people of color, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna take away everything from them. But you could take away a whole bunch of stuff from me, but you gonna take away the best of the meat from the animal, but I'm gonna still use that ham hock and make me some excellent collard greens. You know what I'm saying? So there's things that people will take away from us that we use them and turn around and make it 20,000 times better. Like all you got is a can of beans and a little bit of cornbread. Well, guess what? I can make some a whole entire meal with cornbread and beans. So I'm good to go. Is that friend? Friend came back. Hey. Welcome. I was just talking a little bit about, are you on there? Is you still frozen? I was just talking a little bit about East Tampa, on how East Tampa is strong when it comes to innovation, when it comes to the community working together with the CRTs, the teachers, the educators, every single thing. And then the key that I mentioned was that despite limited funding, East Tampa continues to grow in terms of resilience and in terms of innovation and heart. Okay, there's some strong people out there. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, I don't have nothing else to add because we'll know when this good old
Internet.
spectrum gonna show out.
Right. We do understand that, and like when the internet, and again, we in all these different pockets of areas where the internet may be strong here, internet may be weak here. So, and it ain't even raining either. So we do the best that we can.
So you evolved though when you move out of the when you moved into the beautiful. So now I'm over here still in the in between. What it said, the blight. The blight.
I ain't gonna lie, I have upgraded. I ain't gonna let's just say it like this. My upgrade went from a overnight Amazon to a same day delivery Amazon. That's an upgrade, boo.
That's an upgrade. That's an upgrade.
That's a place to order at 6 a.m. and get it by 11 a.m.
Exactly. Get it done.
Oh,
Get it done.
Don't tell you. So,
but before we go, because I think you probably wrapped up on everything. I want to say this.
Go ahead.
It is very important that as an organization or as a person, that your words line up with what it is that you say you're going to do. Don't volunteer lie to people that work directly in contact with children. And that goes from any organization and leadership in our very own district. Let your words line up. Because again, when you're heavy in the community, when you're directly, engaged with families and so on and so forth, and the conversation comes back and it's be like, well, what happened? Well, what happened is individuals that said they were going to do something don't do it. And then it creates a domino effect. These children's lives depends on things like experiential learning in the community. They need times to get away, to be able to get out, explore, see different things that are capable of being a change, make a changed mindset for them. So be very intentional about what you say. Do not volunteer lies. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And I'm just going to pin that there.
And children have a very long memory. Child, once you tell a child you're going to do something, they're going to be back and keep on asking you again and again until it gets done. So please make sure you say what you say, and you say what you mean, and you do what you have to do. Okay. And then
don't create barriers. If you have access to a discounted something, extend the information. It does not hurt you at all. If you have access to how to get discounted tickets, discounted transportation, discounted when it's serving children that already cannot afford those, costs that $2,000 and $3,000 buses, $80 tickets to get in places like Kennedy Space Center.
Exactly.
I mean, don't
gatekeep. And don't gatekeep because
it's disgusting.
Yeah, and I agree, and don't gatekeep because you don't understand. You're holding it back from a future scientist. You're holding it back. Don't look at it as these kids can't afford. That might be a future president, a future scientist, a future judge, a future superstar sports star. You don't know what seed you can plant if you just release that information, release that accessibility to these children. You're amazed at what these children turn around and do in the future. And you be like, whoa! I remember when you were 8 years old. I remember and your eyes lit up because you went to such and such a place. So just keep that in mind. It ain't about you. We gonna die. Let me say it one more time. We gonna die. So this ain't about us.
And it's not always just because your child is benefiting, then everything else is okay. No, because it can very well be you and your child in the future.
Thank you.
Don't think you're too far away from it because we've seen millionaires be brought down. Anyway, just be mindful. Your
That's all we
child
gotta
is,
say about that.
listen, it's children, not just your
Mhm.
child.
It's not
When it
just your
comes to
child.
impact, think about that. If you have
Mhm.
the ability, otherwise, it questions you're in that job, how and why.
Ooh, that's important to know. Anyway, we got a closing message for you. So as we head, anything else you want to add, Fran? We good?
No, we good. Good, good,
Okay.
good. We will see you all on January the 18th, same
Yes.
time. Definitely not the
Same place.
same year. And on that note, Happy New Year.